What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the SO Show. All right, so today we're gonna talk about the Lakers trying to get Dan Hurley. Now, this is my whole thing, and this is what I'm kind of scared about. For Dan Hurley, not the Lakers, but for Dan Hurley. Now, Dan Hurley is a great coach. He came from Rhode Island. He coached there from 2012 to 2018. They won the 2017 Atlantic 10 conference championship under him, but he ended up leaving at the UConn in 2018. He went to UConn, signed with UConn in 2018, and from the past 2 years, so from 2023 and 24, he won back to back national championships in the tournament, and which UConn hasn't been. They haven't been at the tournament since 2016. So for Dan Hurley to come into UConn and really turn the program back up for real, and lead them to back national championships. You know what I'm saying? That's a resume right there. That's two national championships. NCAA tournaments. You know what I'm saying? That's big. That look real good on your resume, culture resume. So you can't blame the Lakers for even trying to go after him. Now, now the thing is, Dan Hurley, he just recently last year signed an extension with UConn Huskies for 32.1 million dollars. So that's a 6-year deal. So now for him to actually go to LA and leave the Huskies, the Lakers got to offer that bag. The Lakers got to. I'm thinking about $100 million contract. Over the course of these years. You know what I'm saying. So it's like Lakers gonna have to offer him a big bag. Now, if you're Dan Hurley, you have accomplished so much for the UConn Huskies, program over these past 4 or 5 seasons, and won back-to-back championships. So it's kind of hard. I would think that it's hard for him to leave. It would be hard for him to leave all of that and go to the NBA. But at the same time, I would understand, because maybe you have accomplished so much and so fast in the college program. Maybe you want to see what would you be like, coaching for the NBA on that, the highest level possible. So I mean, I will understand it, but this is the whole big point of this video. We have seen countless times of college coaches that have been really successful at that level, and they try to go to the NBA and coach on that level, and it just goes bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just goes bad every time. So that's the only thing that scares me about this whole situation. Will his game, will his coaching style, what will his game plan of how he do things in a college level, will it translate to the NBA? John Calipari for Kentucky Wildcats, most well known for that role. John Calipari, he was the Kentucky head coach for about over a decade, and his overall coaching record was 855 and 263. Now, that was a winning percentage of, he was over .700. His winning percentage was above 700 in college. Led 3 different schools to a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. That's only one out of 4. He was one of 4 coaches to accomplish that. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot. Right? In a collegiate level, he was very successful. He has 30 years of experience of coaching. You know what I'm saying? And he won one tournament championship in 2012 for Kentucky Wildcats. Now, this is obviously, I mean, if you do any research on this, this was all pre-Kentucky. So he already had a hot streak of, being a solid coach, in college. So he transitioned and got his full-time head coaching job for the Nets back in 1996. And he was a head coach for them for the past 3 seasons. His overall record was 72 and 112 in the NBA. Great coach, great college coach, great success in this time frame right here. But only lasted 3 seasons in the NBA as a head coach. And a lot of people said, I'm not even gonna say a lot of people said. One of the players on his team said that John Calipari doesn't know. He didn't know how to talk. He didn't know how to talk to his players. He didn't understand that the NBA is it's revolved around the players. The players are always going to come first. Even in 1996, from 1996 to 99 that he coached in the NBA, the league was still all about the players. It was all about the players at the end of the day. The coaches in college, we're so used to, college coaches running things. They're ahead of the recruiting. They know who they want. They want the best players. They can get them if they want to. They have all the control in college. But once you get to the NBA, a lot of these coaches have a hard time adjusting to that. A lot of these college coaches have a hard time adjusting to the fact that they're not the main guy. Like, you can be the main guy, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be players first in the NBA. It's a player league. It's player league led. At the end of the day, it will never be about the coach. You will have to be a Greg Popovich. You will have to be a Phil Jackson. You got to be a one of one to even have that amount of juice in the NBA. So if you're just entering the league as a coach and transitioning from college head coach to NBA head coach, you have to understand that this is not about you at all. This is always going to be about players first. And if if a star player on that team wants that coach out of there, he's going to be out of there. So, that's what scares me about Dan Hurley. He just has to know and come into this situation knowing that this is not college. You cannot talk to, grown men with mortgages. You can't talk to grown men who have wives at home, children at home, real life responsibilities at home outside of basketball. You can't talk to them the way how you talk to, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old. You know what I'm saying? It's just two different. It's two different playing fields. It's two different fields. So you can't approach with the same attitude that you did in college and translate that to the NBA. You got to adjust. You have to adjust. And a lot of these college coaches that transition to the NBA, they just have to know that. They just got to know that the NBA will always be, specifically the NBA, it will always be player led. Meaning, the NBA cares about its star players. If you have multiple star players, or if you have just one star player on that team, just know that they are in control. Unless you're Greg Pop, unless you're Steve Kerr, unless you're I don't even know. Unless you're Phil Jackson, back then with the Bulls, unless one of the greatest of all time and you have those players respect, you can't run things like that. You can't run a dictatorship how you did in college. You don't have that control anymore. This is the NBA. This is literally the NBA. If the NBA player, if the star player wants you going off that team, they're gonna get you going off that team. Point blank. So, whatever Dan Hurley chooses to decide, I feel like he should be pretty successful in whatever, route, whether he want to, stay in UConn or he want to leave and try to, if he wants more of a challenge and coach on the NBA level, then that's fine too. I think he'll be just fine. I mean, you got LeBron James and AD as your two star players. I mean, it can't be that hard. It wouldn't be that hard for him to coach, with those guys on his team already. So, I mean, yeah, that's about it though. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. And thank y'all for watching. That's another episode of the SO Show. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and do all of that.